Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're tackling a concept that's, well, it's pretty much a game changer for how we think about our family's future and our financial legacy. We spend so much of our time stressing over those massive, once-in-a-lifetime milestones. But today, we're looking at the exact opposite. We're going to see how tiny, seemingly insignificant, but absolutely relentless, consistent actions are the actual secret to building an extraordinary legacy over time. So if you've ever felt like you're falling behind or like you need to have a massive fortune just to make a dent, stick around. The insights in this explainer are incredibly empowering. Okay, let's dive right into this. Great futures are rarely built by giant leaps. They are built by small steps that never stop. Talk about a massive paradigm shift, right? Most of us are totally conditioned to believe that building lasting wealth or, raising a phenomenal family requires this massive, dramatic, giant leap. But reality tells a completely different story. You don't need a huge fortune. You don't need to be a perfect parent with all the answers. You literally just need to start stepping. So let's look at the metaphorical journey, rolling the first snowball. Picture this. You're standing at the very top of a snowy hill on a freezing winter morning. You bend down, scoop up a tiny, pathetic little handful of snow, and you just gently start rolling it across the ground. At first, absolutely nothing impressive happens. It's tiny. If someone walked by, they'd probably laugh and think, well, that's never going to amount to anything. But here's the magic. The secret isn't how big you begin. The secret is that you keep rolling. As you consistently push it, it picks up a little more snow. It gets a bit heavier, noticeably stronger. And the larger it gets, the faster it grows, until it's completely unstoppable. It takes on a life of its own. And that exact same physical principle, it applies perfectly to your investments, your parenting, the whole shebang. And this completely shatters some of the biggest myths we carry around, doesn't it? The myth tells us that successful investors start out with a mountain of cash, or that great parents just naturally possess perfect knowledge from day one, or that happy marriages never have struggles. Honestly, none of that is true. The reality is that success comes from small actions repeated consistently. The size of your start really doesn't matter. It's all about the momentum you create. Moving right along to the mechanics of momentum. 3 steps to build a legacy. We know the theory now, but how do we actually apply this to our crazy, chaotic daily lives? Well, there are 3 distinct steps to get this snowball rolling. Step 1, focus on the motion, not the size. It is all about forward progress. Step 2, value the first deposit. And step 3, build life snowballs. The real beauty of these steps is that they take all the pressure off. That very first action you take, it isn't powerful because it's some gigantic, impressive feat. It's powerful simply because it begins the journey. You're finally putting the snowball in motion. Let's look at step 2 with a real-world example. $50. Imagine opening an investment account for your kid and making a deposit of just $50. Now, let's be totally honest here, putting $50 into an account today does not feel life-changing. You might look at that tiny balance and think, is this really going to make any difference at all? But the answer isn't found in today's balance. The true explosive power of that $50 is unlocked after hundreds of deposits and months of compounding growth. And this brilliantly illustrates that this whole concept isn't just about finances. It applies to time and human connection for sure. Think about reading to your child for just 10 minutes a night. Just 10 minutes. Doing that for one single evening, it doesn't change a life. But compounding that over hundreds of evenings, it builds an absolute mountain of connection and development. A lifetime of saying, I'm proud of you, or sitting down for family dinners, those are your life snowballs. But we also need to beware negative momentum and understand the dual nature of momentum. Because momentum is completely blind. It works in both directions. Every single day, whether we realize it or not, we're rolling some kind of snowball. We've got positive snowballs like those family dinners, steady investing, words of affirmation that build us up, but negative snowballs are equally powerful. A little bit of credit card debt can seamlessly grow into an absolute unstoppable avalanche of debt. A little procrastination today turns into literal years of delay. Small habits we neglect, little broken promises that chip away at trust, they compound just as aggressively. We have to be incredibly intentional about exactly which snowballs we choose to roll. Which brings us to the avalanche, how habits compound generationally. When we actively choose those positive snowballs, something truly magnificent happens. We start to see a generational impact. Just imagine your child quietly watching you invest a tiny bit of money every single month. They don't understand the math yet, but what they're seeing, what they're soaking in, is your consistency. They see your responsibility, they see your patience. So years later, when they grow up and become parents themselves, they'll likely start investing for their own kids without even having to think about it. The money didn't just compound, the habit compounded. And that right there, that is the exact moment a true, lasting family legacy is built. Take a second and really think back to your own childhood. You probably don't remember every single gift you ever got, right? But I bet you vividly remember a favorite meal or a specific bedtime routine or maybe a hug you always got right before school. At the time, those felt completely ordinary, but ordinary moments become your most treasured memories. And guess what? Your children are actively collecting those ordinary moments right now. They are watching your routines and your habits every single day. So here's an actionable family challenge for you. I highly encourage you to pick just one tiny family tradition to start this week. You don't need to overcomplicate it or try to be overly impressive here. Read one single page together, take a short walk right after dinner, or invest a very small amount monthly. But above all else, choose something sustainable, because small, sustainable traditions are what become lifelong memories. Just let these words sink in for a moment. What you repeat, your children remember. What they remember, they eventually become. Wow, that is just one of the most unforgettable takeaways. It really emotionally anchors everything we've talked about in this explainer. Your repetition is quite literally shaping their future identity. And this leads us to the ultimate goal of the snowball effect. The greatest gift you can leave your child isn't an inheritance, it's a head start. Your kids might never remember the exact dollar amount you invested each month, but they will absolutely remember the feeling of being planned for, of being loved, being protected. That preparation, that consistency, that is the head start. So I'm going to leave you with this question to ponder. What small habit am I building today that could bless my family for decades? It's just incredibly empowering to realize that the tiny actions you take today, even tonight, have the power to ripple through generations. So don't wait around for the perfect moment or some giant leap. Go out, scoop up that snow, and start rolling your positive snowball today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep building that legacy.